All right. You're back listening to Real Talk with Herschel, WKCG 99.1 on your FM dial from Dothan, Alabama. All right. Now, the views expressed today on the show are those of my guests and myself and do not necessarily reflect the views of WKCG or TOPS. I know you got to go and we press for time. See, this is what happens. You get what you pay for, ladies and gentlemen. You don't pay them, you don't buy them lunch, they try to run out on you. Let me ask you something before you go. We were talking before you got here about the role of the church with educating our children, the role of the black man on education and in general what education means. Does education stop at your formative years, or with high school, or how far does education really go?
Education, you really never stop learning. If you ever want to continue to grow, you always have to continue to learn. You can learn from anybody, anything, any person. I think when we go back to the question about the roles of African American men and what roles should they take as far as education and the black church. But if I started with black men, first of all, we need to see more positive black men. I have enough role models that model that model the things that influence our culture in our neighborhood. They see enough of the sadness. They see enough of the staying home at 12 o'clock playing PlayStation when you get up and not going to work. They see the hustle and the bustle. They see the struggle of a black woman dealing with a black man that's not about his business. I need to see more black men that are professionals, that are doing what we say they can do. I say that they can do.
Well, now you said we see that. Now, is that what's portrayed or is that reality?
Well, I'm the type of person you can't teach your student unless you understand your student. So I'm not afraid to ride the neighborhoods. Matter of fact, I know most of the areas in the neighborhoods, which gives me a kind of a key up because I'm from that. So when I say I'm from that, I grew up Title I. Okay. I grew up AFPC. The hood changes, but the mentality doesn't. From state to state, all throughout the nation. So it's all the same. So when you start to look at how important is education and how important is the black man, I put it to you this way. I never got out of the hood because of money. Money came, money went. Good jobs came, good jobs went. The problem was I didn't get out the hood until I built relationships. Somebody who mentored me and said, okay, young man, you keep making it out, but you keep going back. Because we have a tendency to go back to what's familiar. Right. Okay. So I failed 3 times in my life and lost everything. And each time I resorted back to what I knew. I resorted back to, I'm from North Carolina. I grew up in Armstrong Projects. I got down here, worked myself up through a couple of jobs, got out of the military, went through some hard times, lost everything, ended up living in Johnson Home. Okay.
Back in the project.
Okay. And then worked myself right back to a management position in another firm. Doing what I need to do. That company shuts down, and then it goes to overseas. Doing and they still, on the whole NAFTA thing with the government, it's cheaper labor overseas. I lose everything again. This time I end up in Moore Village down in Delaware. Okay. So one night I sat there and I just started doing the self-analysis, and I said to myself, and I was actually talking to my Savior, and I was like, look, I've did this, and all 3 times I started here and I ended here. How do I rewrite my destiny, and how do I break my generational curse? Because it is evident that this is a part of my generational curse. So the first thing I realized was I couldn't stop the jobs from leaving, so I needed to change my expertise. I needed to make myself more marketable. That makes sense, okay? But we don't teach them how do you do that. We don't know how to do that because we don't have mentors in the household that teach us how to do that. They don't teach us the significance of a good education because you're not around. Why is it that it's so easy for us to walk away from our families and do our own thing? Why is it so easy for us to have so many baby mamas with no internal clock or no type of clock that says check your integrity? You understand what I'm saying? Why are we programmed? Or why are we making these decisions? And then why are we sending kids to school to be raised by teachers and not educated by teachers? Our job is not to rear your child, it's to educate your child. We are a tool for your assistance, but you have to pour into your child. I can't care more about their education than you do. So when you take in consideration, once again, going back to, do you value the education? And it's hard to show value in something you never use. You never use. How do I tell my child that you need to go to college to be successful and you haven't? Especially in the generation that gets everything so fast in technology. You have to show them. So when I go to school, I am very superficial with my kids. I'm back in school. I pull my report card up, I pull my transcript up, and I show them my grades. I show them how hard I work. I show my son, this is what I do. You see me studying. You see me not. You see me. I can't go to the Bama game because I got assignments due. So you see me make the sacrifice. There's no shortcuts. I'm preaching to you, but I'm doing what I'm preaching to you, and you get to see it on both ends, and then you front row seat to the reward. So now you have a blueprint. So my thing is to set blueprints. If you don't see that at home, you can't say you didn't see it, because I'm gonna be that opportunity for you to see it. So reference me 20 years from now when you say, what would Mr. Wiggins do? Or how he would have handled the situation. You understand what I'm saying? He wouldn't have gave up on that. I don't teach my kids facts. I teach them how to learn. I teach them how to teach themselves how to learn. When you teach a child how to learn, then they'll learn for the rest of their life because they'll know how to research topics that they want to know.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Instead of using that lame old excuse of nobody showed me. Which brings us to the next level. Who are those that are to cultivate and raise their family up as a whole? Which in our community will be our black churches. And I think that our message from our black preachers, we've lost it. We've got it, it's got wrapped up somewhere around going to the nation and your next blessing wrapped up in your financial gift. But it's nothing about building the family. It's nothing about the education. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying all churches, and I'm not knocking our churches. But now, when I stand on this, and I stand on this firmly, when I sit down to the table and I meet with community leaders and stakeholders and churches come to the table, none of the churches look like me. None of them look like me. The ones that look like me promised to come out and support, but never did. Now, our white brothers and sisters showed up in globes, and I'm talking about not only did they dedicate their time, they dedicated their resources, and they dedicated money. So here's the catch-22. Once again, we're sitting back, allowing someone else to do what we're supposed to be doing. I'm just saying.
Aren't these answers amazing? And this is why I'm asking, because great minds think alike. There are more of us like this than not. You said the same thing I was saying before you got here.
And my thing is this right here. You know, I didn't have one black fraternity show up. I didn't have one black sorority show up. I didn't have one black church show up. I didn't have any black political organization show up. This is what I'm talking about. And we rally and we do these things when we need to be seen in the public eye, and we make these accusations or these promises of building up the community, and then we never see you again. You know, and I'm like, I'm saying this because I've knocked on your door and said, hey, I need you to come out. I need you to show, you need to become tangible. I need them to be able to touch you and see you. You understand what I'm saying? We incorporated the STEM program, and in the STEM program, I put together what we call the biomedical engineering program. where we look at different industry, medical based careers, and how technology and all those good things work in, play in effect and works together. We have students from ACOM, they come out. I've had doctors, kidney doctors, Southern Bone and Joint has sent out doctors, and I mean, it is amazing. And then when I turn around and say, okay, I need you to come out because we're professionals too. We're professionals too. And it's like pulling teeth. So if you can't complain about how the youth turn out today if you won't invest in youth. Everybody's sitting around pointing the finger at what they're doing, but no one's educated. When I was growing up in the projects, none of us sat on the corner and said, man, I can't wait to grow up so I can stay in the projects forever. Right. We all had big dreams of getting out. We didn't know how to get out. And most of the crime that took place was in an attempt to collect the resources that was in to get out. Ultimately, to get out. Right. It wasn't, I've never known.
Right, that was to get there.
Okay, because that's what you saw when it came in the way of handling money. That's where you got your first budget from. When you grow up in areas like I grew up in, you know, my city was in the top 5 of the most murders in the state of North Carolina. So, you know, nothing's changed. When I go back now, it's the same thing generation after generation. So we see that it's a problem. But everybody points the finger. And it's crazy. Our kids can be more than basketball players, football players, and rap artists. That's all I'm saying. People say, well, you know, you had your opportunity. You know, with this, you know, we are progressive. We had a black president. Yeah, we did. He did more for other cultural groups than he did for African American men. Woo! I'm just saying. Woo! We did things for other special interest groups, and we still at a national low when it comes to unemployment rate. And I did not feel any effect or any benefit from having an African American president. I'm just keeping it 100.
That's what we do here.
I'm just keeping it 100.
That's real talk.
I'm just saying.
Real talk. This is my show. We don't cut no corners. I try to say things so you don't have any repercussions at your job. But I'm gonna ask you what I want to ask you. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
So like I said, you know, Mr. Wiggins, he got to leave me right now, which is terrible. He's selfish. So if you see him, give him a thumbs down. He's a great teacher and a great friend. He's not a friend. He's my brother. And we are only here to bridge gaps. We're not pointing the finger. We're here to help connect those that don't have with those that do have. Connect those that are looking for resources with those that do have within our community. We want our community to be able to sustain itself. Because when you look good, people will help you. People don't help poor people. No. If you look like you don't need help, they will give you everything under the sun. We need to be sharp. We need to be sharp. Our kids need to show their true talent. We need to stand and tell these jokers, we don't need your police. We don't need you to tell us who our heroes are. You don't need to tell us how to teach our children, because we're going to do all of that. Watch the resources come. Watch the resources come. This is real talk. This is real talk. Let's keep it 100. Is that the way it goes? That's the way it goes. Because the poor folks don't get nothing but the tail. That's right. You get the turkey butt like Norby. You know?
And you want your child to be able to compete and to be able to bring just as much to the table when you start to mingle with outside of school. The world is multicultural. It's multicultural. So they have to have that exposure to a multicultural society. You can't tell them, okay, we're going to teach you this way, and then we're going to put you out there. Because you set them up for failure. You set them up for failure. And my plea is basically this right here. I have the support that I need. The support that I really need comes from the people of the kids that I teach, the parents of the kids that I teach. You can't get out here and talk about what we can't have or what other people won't let us have when you won't come out here and you won't step out and do what you're supposed to do. In all actuality, they do more than what we do. That makes sense. So I challenge my leaders, my African-American preachers to come outside the pulpit. I promise, I won't keep you outside your suits long. I'll let you get back in your suits and your Cadillacs. But I need you to come out the pulpit, leave your security behind, and show your face in our school and show these kids that you believe in their future. And that goes for your black politicians that I haven't seen come out.
Come on with it.
Since you got your position behind the desk.
Come on with it.
I need you to come out, okay? There are programs out there that are specific to certain districts because of the number of minority and low income that we could be doing, and we could be building up those communities. They're there. They're here. So don't fade out now because the election is over, okay? It's a lot of other special interest groups out here that's making a lot of noise, okay? Stop making noise and let's put in the work. So everybody know who I am. I'm a loudmouth. I don't have many friends, but at the end of the day, my business is kids, and that's what it is. I appreciate you guys for having me, man.
Brother Wiggins, let me tell you something. He will be back. He'll be back soon. He don't know how soon.
No.
And we're gonna take a little interlude and let Al go on his business, and we'll be back with Real Talk with Herschel in 4 minutes. Brother, let me tell you something.
Well, you gonna give you a try, man.
Hey, you won't be done yourself. We'll be